Whenever I think of gangster films, they always excite me. Why? Because I think the amount of research that goes into it just to make it look cool is just worth it. When it's an actual biopic, or at least more or less, let's say 70% of it, even if that turns out to be right, then it's even more exciting. And when you have someone who's actually done it with Elan in the past, it makes it even better. Apoorva, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me, bro. And good to see you again.
Yep, it's been a long time and you haven't changed at all, so it's good to see you. But I like this very interesting combination that you've picked up. One of the most successful actresses in Bollywood. And I always love this. You know, she's chosen different kinds of roles in the last 5-7 years. Got critical acclaim with some, got box office success with some. And even though 1 or 2 duds have come along the way, you still choose your own different roles. And I really like this is the most difficult role I think that you would have chosen. Shraddha, thanks so much for joining me.
Hi again. Simon.
Yes.
It's always good to be interviewed by you.
And I love this look. We'll come to that in a bit.
Thank you. But may I say something? I feel like it's really refreshing when you have somebody who's like fully like excited.
But it is.
To interview you and you have your own way. So thank you for that always.
Yeah, well, I better stay in the picture long enough, right? So I have to like sit and I love this. But I haven't actually met him, Salil. You know, but Siddhanth, I've only heard a lot about you, but I heard a lot more about your DJing than I actually heard about your... So let me just tell you, so you don't know this. I was at one of these parties a long time back that you were DJing at and we were loving the music. And then we all ran out of the party at that time and it was fantastic to actually have you. Do you still DJ?
Yes, when I get the time.
Do you miss,
it's my passion.
Miss those days?
No, I still DJ when I get a chance to. It's my passion. Music is everything to me. So whenever I get a chance, you know, I go out and.
So is your sister a big fan of your music?
Yes, she is.
Yeah? Yeah. Do you like the kind of music?
In fact, I've recently, a couple of years ago, my music taste was different. Now I think it's evolved.
Yeah.
And
evolved as in how? With Bollywood or with more kinds of people?
More kinds of like different kinds of music, and like I'm a music addict.
Yeah.
So I keep trying to listen to different kinds of sounds and stuff. And now I've come onto the page of the kind of music that he DJs. So
which is the page that we were on in 1997. So you know we sort of because I was always very much into electronic music or psytrance or I know you do.
And he plays.
Your face is very familiar.
Yeah, man. So
I like his deep house.
So I'll tell you who. So Nisha Harali. Now let's make it a little more private. Nisha Harali, Aditya Shroff and me used to be bouncing at your parties quite a bit earlier. Many years back, bro.
Yes.
It's been a long time. So the beauty is now that you've transcended into this. This I think for you is the most important role of your career as well.
As of now, yes, of course. It's a lot. It's a lot. You know, how do I say it? It's
responsibility.
More. It's one of the main parts. You know, so I've not played I played a main part, but it's not released yet. But this is like the first film where I'm playing one of the main parts and it's releasing. So it's quite a happy thing to see yourself in promos and posters, and it's quite new to me. You know,
and to see your sister in this central. Perhaps the most powerful poster in a very long time.
Yeah, it's quite powerful, the poster. When we first saw it, we remember everyone's jaw just dropped, you know. Because
see, physical transformation. I'll come to Apoorva on that.
He actually sent the, we have a group, and the first thing he sent is this poster, and we were like, wow, what is this? How is this? That's not my sister.
You know, it was very, very difficult to physically change. You know, recently, I don't know if you had time to see Daddy. I mean, Arjun was brilliant in the film. You know, it was one of the best gangster films. You really should.
Yeah. Apparently, it's got amazing reviews.
Forget about the reviews. You know, see, it doesn't matter. Half of them.
No, reviews as in my friends.
Oh,
my friends.
It's one of the best films I've seen in a really, really long time.
Wow.
Really good film.
That's so good to know.
Yeah, it is because they, you know, they didn't try to like make it pacey, which is what I want to come to you. So sometimes I think, so even if you go back to Company, brilliant film, you know, but a lot of it was also the background score. Sandeep Chowta's background score is fantastic. Do you choose that kind of pacey cinema, or do you see if you see Daddy, there's hardly any background score. It's just very raw and very real, very like a Black Friday. Your style is more, I would say, in like the merging of both of the worlds.
Yeah, it's important because for me, the background score moves my film because my kind of cinema has a lot more cuts than you know, maybe an average director would have it, because my stories, whichever film I've done, the stories take a longer period. For Shootout at Lokhandwala, for example, it was over 20 years. The backstory started 20 years. Haseena is over a period of 40 years. You know, so Ek Ajnabi was a period of, once again, over 20 years from this thing. So, for me, background is very important, not only for moving the film, but also introducing and making the audience feel part of a certain generation. Same thing I've done in Haseena. We are transiting, and we've got background scores like Chura Liya. You know, there's a scene in which Shraddha singing Chura Liya while cooking. So people of that generation will totally understand that we are in, you know, the late 70s, early 80s, or you know, we got songs like that. So,
but the challenge as a filmmaker, I feel in that is also when you try to show a number of generations or time lapse, you eventually have 2.5 hours. Do you run short of time in that? Because it's very difficult to give justice to which. Do you want to give justice to Haseena when she was younger, when she was at the prime, or at the end?
See, you know why our films are longer than, let's say, Hollywood films? The only reason is because we have songs in them. Do you understand what I'm saying? When you look at a romantic film, there are 5 to 6 songs. You average a song at 3 minutes.
The 20 minute extra ho gaya.
20 minute extra ho hi gaye. Bollywood films are also making 90 minute to 120, but they don't have songs. So how this film, we have kept it at a certain length, which is basically 2 hours, is because we have one song which is a non-lip sync. Do you understand what I'm saying? So that is the only difference. You know, people say Hindi movies are longer than movies from around the planet. The only reason is because our public loves a hero and heroine singing. You know that.
No, but I'll tell you another thing. Having watched almost 2 films every week for the last 5 years of my life, if you have a small second half, which is a lot of what a lot of filmmakers experimented, they said, oh, badi jaldi aa gaye ending mein, conclusion mein, because we have an interval. A lot of Hollywood films don't have intervals. So they don't understand. Yeah, they'll say, first half mein acha build up ho raha, second half mein jaldi nahi ho gaya kya? Yeah, a lot of them actually have that thought process, you know, so it's a very, very fine line, you know, because
we'll never be able to change it. For example, Christopher Nolan had it in a contract. That if you're releasing in any country, you can only release it if you sign a contract saying you won't have an interval. But,
really?
Yeah. So
now how are you going to sell popcorn and how will the theaters make money?
Exactly.
In India.
But I think Dunkirk had an interval.
In some places, but that was illegal.
Interval, I think, in India.
So
I think because it was very, the interval point is also very abrupt.
But what background score in that?
That background score is very important. And like I said, you know, so the style of filmmaking differs. He's a very hands-on director. You know, he's out there with the. We'll actually talk about that. He's an interesting director.
He is talk about sinking your teeth into something. He has done a couple of years of research on our film, and he spent time with Haseena Parkar and her family. And I thought it was so interesting that he actually went to meet her to get data on her. No, sorry. Somebody had told you to make a film on Dawood Ibrahim. So you had gone to meet her for that, right? But then the moment he met her and he started speaking to her,
he said, let's make a film on you.
Yeah.
Picked it up.
Well, actually, every one of that family. See, the thing in Mumbai especially is this world. It's like, you know, like the Corleone family. You know, when Godfather was made. Till today, if you watch it, this mafia thing, you know, is something that is very intriguing, because the world actually wants to know, did that world actually exist? And now that, you know, you're getting lots of facts and figures that are coming out, and more factually relevant films are being made, I think the discussion continues. But I would never have chosen her for this role. So that is the biggest thing that, you know, I know lots of explanations will come out, but I want to know how you, or which frame did you see in which film?
I want to know why you say that.
I was shocked when I saw her as a lead in that, and that's the beauty of it. Sometimes an actress, when you end up doing about 5, 10, 15 films, it's tough to shock the audience. Yes, you can marvel, you know, at the performance, but it's very tough to shock the audience, and he has a very big hand in that, the director Apoorva Lakhia. After many years,
it's only his hand.
It's only his hand.
How did you see her in this? This is India's Ashiki girl, yeah? This is the sweet girl who does a great dance also in ABCD, a beautiful girl who sings.
It was an image from Haider. Okay, where I think I loved her performance in that. Even she might agree that might have been one of her finer performances.
Mine also favorite is
but the image stayed with me. I remember it was a blue dupatta she was wearing and looking sideways towards the camera. I remember it very clearly.
The books in the hand.
And I said that, okay, she can play an awesome Muslim girl. Okay, so I said, chalo.
We'll keep that in the back of the mind.
Yeah, we keep that in the back of mind, and because the role is a journey from her being 17 to 45, it would be perfect that she could be herself till she was 25, 30.
Correct.
And after that, the hard work would start. So once I went to her, gave her a narration, she got onto the film straight away that day itself. Okay, she asked the right questions. She never asked me a question that how will I play a mother of 4 kids? And in the film, when my son dies, he's 25 years old. But she asked me questions like, are we going to shoot it like this? Is this really happen? Which basically tells you about the actor's confidence level in her art. You know, because she's looking at it as a film. She's not looking at it as a personal journey. She's looking at it as an overall film. Once she said yes, we obviously got a lot of body types. Okay, her body types. We did a lot of prosthetic trials.
Of course, yeah.
Hair and makeup trials. In fact, there's a story. We had this girl. Her name is Archana.
Oh, God.
And we were doing a prosthetic trial, and this makeup guy, by mistake, took out her eyebrows. And she's a model. Okay?
Yeah.
One shouldn't
And-
laugh,
and suddenly-
and they're very tough to get
Yeah,
back.
and suddenly she started
It's
crying,
sad.
and
It's
I was
really
in the
sad.
office. And I said, "What happened to you?" You know, there goes, "Sir, मेरे eyebrow निकाल." I said, "Tension मत ले, मैं तेरे को एक बहुत अच्छा role देता हूँ picture में." So I've given her a role in the film. Eyebrows have grown back. Okay, and you know, so it was fun going through that process, because that is the process which is going to make your film.
Yeah.
You know, when people think that initially that you made a wrong choice, but in your mind, as a team, which is all of us, think that we made the right choice and we work towards it. And when the first look comes out and people say, I am wrong, this is perfect, I think that's a fantastic feeling, because that's when you realize that, you know, people are appreciating what you believed in. I'm talking about the first look.
No, so I'll say this, why? This is like what happened to Saif Ali Khan. When the first time we saw him as Langda Tyagi in
Omkara.
in Omkara.
Outstanding.
It would have not been possible to believe him to have done that role. A, because you're very urban, like he is as well. B, you haven't done as many weighted characters. You've done lots of characters that require that have had accompaniments with it. You know, this, you will not be able to use your body language like the way you normally do. It will be, you know, in a certain way. So it was a very big responsibility to take. And then when you took it, I'm glad that, you know, that the naysayers were there at the beginning. But when the first look came on, I said, man, this girl's really worked hard on this. So was that also a thought in your mind that, I have to like do this? You were coming off films that hadn't done too well, you know, box office wise, even though by your lofty standards, let's put it that way. You know, some of your films have done really well. And he's faced that as well. You know, he's had lofty standards, he's faced that. So our industry's always been easy to judge. So this was a breaking of tradition in your way when you signed this role.
In a sense, I guess.
But were you not scared? He says you were sure, but were you scared inside?
You know, I feel like I'm perpetually scared. And I feel like, no, really, you know, and I feel like there's a lot of self-doubt. There's a lot of really, and maybe like I'll bounce this off with maybe like my mom or my, you know, friends, and I'll be like, I don't know if I can do this. But then when you know when you get that, you know, it'll be fine, just give it your best.
And he's got all this, his short breakdown to his books, his narratives are perfect always, right? With the scripting.
I mean, you know, frankly, when you have someone who has gotten so involved with their film, and you know, he was like an encyclopedia.
Yeah, he knew everything.
Yeah,
So,
that's for sure.
Firstly, we were awestruck by that in itself. And like every time he'd be like, give one trivia about Haseena. Somewhere or the other. He'd say, you know, by the way, guys, this is how she would speak, and this is how her body language was, and this is, so it's like, you know, you feel like, okay, here is someone who's given so much of his effort into this film, and this person wants you to play that character. So it's a
So
privilege.
did you ever have a day of doubt sometimes in between when it was a little overwhelming that am I pulling it off?
Yeah, I have that now as well.
No, I mean, seriously,
I
did
think-
she ever look like she was overwhelmed ever?
You know, she did call me before the film. I remember this very clearly. She said, "Apu sir, I don't know if we have enough time. Maybe we should push the film."
Workshop wise?
Yeah, workshop-wise. But we were doing extensive workshops because she's a very busy actor.
Yeah, yeah.
And we'd got those, we'd booked those 20 days, but her film got pushed, so we got about 12 days. And I said, I think you're on the right track, because we were talking off and on before that. And then she just took it upon herself, where we used to sit in their house and do script readings, and we used to do makeup tests, and she used to ask me questions. And but basically, we had most of the paraphernalia ready for her to step in, and then she had to take it in herself. But she was, one thing I must admire about her and respect is that I think she was not scared, but she didn't want to get it too wrong because the family is alive. You understand what I'm saying?
She's no longer alive, Haseena.
She's no longer alive, but the family is alive. And when you're playing these...
No, Apoorva, you got it wrong. It's Google that is still alive. If she's doing things, and I'm telling you this, I watched Daddy at Sun City, in Ville Parle. People were Googling while the film was going on. Acha, ye wo hai jisse wo baat kar raha hai. This is how we become now. Right. If you say it's a biopic, they're going to be saying, ye kisse baat kar raha? Who's this character? Because in 1970, you might change the names, right? So that film, Dawood was changed to Qasim. So they said, ye kaun hai? Acha, ye hai. Acha, haan. In Daddy.
Was it?
Yeah, so Arun, he was not called Dawood in that film.
I don't think...
Maqsood, they called him.
I don't think any film they've called.
No, exactly. Even in this one, we'll come to that. So people are Googling. So she's got history and written history to compete against as well. Right. So is it close to that or exact to that, or have you changed a lot?
As close as we can get it.
Yeah.
Because I would say 85 to 90% is the facts which we've got, because the facts are mentioned with the time and the date of when that incident happened. Even in the 70s, so we've got the FIRs and all that from that time. Okay. We've got the photographs from that time, so the sets have been made exactly the same, which you will understand in the end credits, because I've compared the location of that time and our sets.
So you should actually write that in the beginning. Do not leave. I'll tell you about a film that happened. We just come back to this. When Conjuring happened, I'll tell you why Conjuring also became such a big hit. That big film that you guys saw. Because in the end, when they started showing exactly what he's saying, this is the house that it looked earlier, this is the house that it's looking now, people went and found out, oh my God, this was actually a real story, these are real people. And that sort of it makes you more intrigued. Then they came back again to watch it, and then feel a little more scared. And that's probably what could also happen with your film, because those end credits, if you're putting in, are fantastic. They want to know the reality of it.
Also the opening credits are designed in such a way where it's basically giving you the history of what happened through newspaper cuttings and voiceovers. You know, so you are already educating the public about all the things that have happened through the opening credits, and the end credits basically shows them that this is the hard work we put in and try and made it as genuine or as close to the original locations, films, characters are exactly the same. You know, we've cast accordingly. So, you know, when you're making a biopic, I think these things are interesting to people because they are going to see it with a different perspective.
Yeah, true.
You know, some people are going to see it because they want to see what Shraddha has done, because she's got such a big fan following. This is a different film from the film she's been doing, so that is half a battle. The other battle is people want to see that how have these guys played with the biopic and what have they done, because her brother is the most wanted criminal on the planet.
And we hold that. That's who her brother is, who real life also. And I want to see how he's actually played this, because this role has been done many times, and sometimes very well done, sometimes not so well done. But there's this intrigue about perhaps the most wanted man in the world. For us, Sharjah, if it's as much as Chetan Sharma's Last Ball, it's that image of the Dawood Ibrahim sitting over there with those chashmas. When you were entrusted with this role, you were to look like him also a little bit. You know, like your sister's done a brilliant job and looking as much as she can. Did you think that you looked like him?
Actually, it's a very interesting question, because I never thought I could have looked like him when he offered me the part. So neither did he think. He like, if you can look like him,
then you get the part.
Because I know you'll perform it well. But if you can look the part, then we'll talk. And I had
a lot of pictures of Dawood mostly been from here, from the side, you know, with him just looking to the right and you can see the shades. This isn't just that, right? Because you've got a lot in front.
This is not that. He's playing 18, 19, 20 years old onwards from this film. So we had the freedom to show different sides of this young guy, how he started his petty crimes and how he grew with smuggling and how his relationship with the Pathans, and you know, it's all there in the film.
And as a guy, I know a lot of actors love to play these gangster roles.
I think
everyone likes a gun in hand.
Because it's not because they follow and they like gangsterism and whatever it's called. It's because there's so many shades you can play and there's so much you can perform than playing.
And it's also
like
the only real role that you never want to be in real life. But on screen, you have the freedom to do whatever you want.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, like you mentioned, a lot of people have played him before, but I did not, watch these films as my homework. I've watched these films before and they were all brilliant in it. They're all legends. But when it came to my homework, I had to stay away from all those parts because once you start comparing yourself and doing what the other person has done, then you get confused. And then you're not, you're not original then.
No, but that's fine. Like I said, everyone has the original photograph in their mind. They still use that one photograph. You see your brother perform there. You're suddenly going, oh my God, this is happening for real. I've got my baby brother sitting in front of me and
he's
I'm elder to her.
Oh, sorry. Well, for you,
actually,
baby brother, let's put it this way.
Sometimes he is as well.
No, baby brother in the film industry, let's put it that way. He's come up the ranks and now he is here and like that, the two of you together in a frame.
Yeah, it's really surreal. It's going to be one of those things when we look back when we're a lot older and we'll be like, we actually did that, and we have that as a memory and
parents can't believe it.
Yeah, and they are the most excited for us, and it's so nice to see that.
Shakti sir also in the film.
Mummy, सब पंदी मासी, सब डालते थे.
बहुत सारे हो सकते थे. Just maybe for a walk-in part would have been good. But any time in the frames when you're acting together, do you? If you had to rate him, how do you think he pulled it off?
Oh, let me give you a little more background about him and what he has done about how he's gone about getting this role. So Apu sir told him that he has to look like him. He has done something that my dad had done in his early days to convince a director to cast him in a film. So my dad, I can't remember which film it was for, but he had to don the attire of a nariyal pani wala and be a nariyal pani wala. I don't know which movie it is. But so he would go under the director's office and he would actually...
like a real nariyal pani wala.
He actually went to the beach. We lived right on the beach. So there used to be so many nariyal pani walas. So he's gone to the beach.
And he learned, if I'm not mistaken, to cut the...
He went to the beach. He went onto the beach and he's taken that.
He was convincing the director that he can play that part.
I can't get
and he did that and my brother's done the exact same thing.
You would be...
No, not the nariyal pani wala.
ये तो बड़ा जाना पचासा लग रहा है, FIR.
So Apu sir told him that, you convinced me that you can look like him. My brother's taken my dad's clothes. He's organized everything himself, the sunglasses, he's hired a photographer himself, done a photo shoot, just completely gone all out to convince Apu.
But that's the way it should be, I think
I don't know
you
who
need
does
to earn
this.
your part, and I think in India people take that bit for granted sometimes, because of who you are, sometimes you land apart.
But it's like to really go 10 steps ahead of, convincing your director that I can do this, it's unheard of, I think.
I like it. Now tell me about her. Now you walk in, then you see her perform in this, and it's crowning glory for her.
Actually, I was really convinced when that first poster only came out. I'm like, once you get the look right, then it's Shraddha. Then she can, she's dance, she can do everything, So the only thing I personally was concerned about was the look. But then when Subhash and Eka and Thea and Sir and all the whole technical team came together and presented her like that, wow, I'm like, man.
This is going to open up a new dimension in your entire Bollywood career.
And for other actors also.
I really hope that people just, they take to the world of the film, it's a whole other world. And it's a world and it's a time that actually existed. So I hope that they
Is there going to be a lot of action considering that you are one of our foremost action people?
This is, people categorize this as a gangster film just because of the reputation of the character. But I think this would be a film I made which has almost no action.
Really?
Yeah, because it's
okay, stop right there. This is the same man who will hang out of a plane. And I mean a real chopper. That's not a cameraman. He will hang out himself if he has to shoot a scene 100 feet above the ground. Were you not feeling like inadequate
You've
over
done
here?
that?
Yeah, of course. He's.
I read about this.
This is for Mission Impossible Mission in Istanbul. He does this a long time. And he's done this a lot.
Because the scene was where these two guys jump out of a helicopter in some minus 30 degrees in the Bosphorus. And we had to have them jump from, I think, 80 meters or something, 80 feet. And no one wanted to do it. So I said, give me the camera. It was a waterproof camera. So I hung myself on a moving chopper. It was a great ride. And I had to jump out of the chopper and I'm ground level and then I fell into the sea.
Oh my God.
And it was awesome.
So did you miss that in this?
Huh?
This was like a simple shoot.
See, you can't say it was simple. For me, it was difficult because, for the whole cast and crew, it was difficult because once again, I told you that it's over a period of 40 years. Now, certain action sequences which have been advertised and which have made news in Haseena's life. Haseena's not doing action, but Mumbai is the fourth character.
Correct.
Because what made Haseena to become Apa was not her wanting to be that when she was young, but what surrounded her. And
the circumstances, of course.
The circumstances, the instances, her brother, all that made her become what she is. So there are certain things, obviously we've heard about the gang violence between the Pathans and the this thing between Gawli and Dawood, all that is. So all those things are there. Obviously we have to face Babri Masjid, we have to face Mumbai riots, we have to face the bomb blast because the brothers implicated in that. And after that, the tragedies in her life personally. You know, so there is action, but it's not action for the sake of being there. It's action which...
It was incidents that were being documented
Correct.
to show that.
Only thing is, obviously, I've dramatized the action a little bit and made it, you know...
But that's Hindi films, you want to see that. You know? I don't want to see like a boring gang war sequence because it's probably worse when they were actually doing it. Thanks so much, guys, for joining me.
Thank you. It was
we look forward to this.
It was so much fun.
So 22nd of September is when our film is releasing.
This is actually the 21st when they're showing it. So back tomorrow. Make sure you guys watch it tomorrow. But thanks so much for joining me. It really is. Like I said, some films surprise you, some films, you know, you look forward to. Gang war films. I hope this is the film that we see with it. And Apu,
thank you so much.
Hope we don't have another 5-year gap before we see you in another film.
Yeah, don't say 5, 3 years. Killing me, bro.
It feels long. See you guys and take care.